Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you're viewing this, we would like to welcome you to an interview, which is one of several that we have made. And I'm going to introduce Dr. Dick Dalton to you. And he is the writer of I Am Not My Thoughts. And this he has a new colored revision, and I'll let him talk a little bit about his new revision of the book, I Am Not My Thoughts.
All right. Hi, Jan.
Hi.
Good to be with you again. Been a while.
Yeah.
And since we were together last, I did some further editing in the book and added a whole bunch of what I call hot links to different references through the book, and republished as the 10th anniversary edition, as it says here up in the corner. Basically the same book, but it has Amazon has added, or Kindle has added, the option of color for just a small increase in price. So posters and different things are in color. That kind of just gives a little spice to the book. I think I enjoy it more now. And if you get the Kindle version, if you just download the Kindle app on your any phone or iPad or computer, you can get the Kindle version for just $2.99, and it has all the hot links in it. So you can be reading the paperback book if you like things that you can hold in your hand and read, and you come to a thing that's underlined in blue, and you say, oh, that's a hot link. Well, just open your Kindle and press the link, and you can be reading about the subject in a deeper way while you are reading through your book. So to me, I think that's the way I would do it, but to each her own, as the saying goes. So yeah, so I'm excited about that, and I'm going to say this book is done now, ready to focus more on the next one or two or three, or who knows.
Well, with that, I thought that we would just chit-chat just a little bit about the book, I Am Not My Thoughts, or I Am Not My Thoughts.
Yes.
So that explanation, I think, is needed, and give some people understanding of what that really means and how we can use that in our daily life to resolve maybe some conflicts within us, or some personal things that we've attached ourselves to, and maybe be able to communicate better even with people that we have conflict with. So anyway, I thought maybe you could give us an understanding of that title and how valuable it is to individuals to use.
Right on. Well, it was valuable to me, but I was 30 years old when I first heard it. I don't know how old you are, if you've heard it before or not, but it's not something we teach in school, which it seems like we probably would help a lot of people in their educational process and in their relationships with each other if they knew early on, Jimmy, those thoughts aren't you. And, you can just write those thoughts down on a piece of paper, and you can look at them, and you're the one looking at those thoughts now on a piece of paper. And do you like those thoughts? Are they helpful for you? Do they make you feel good, or you think they're going to contribute to a better life for you, or are they telling you things that make you feel bad, make you sad, or make you angry, or make you afraid? Well, the book is all about examining how we can substitute a different thought for that one that you wrote down there. And as we practice choosing the new thought, which is going to be the truth, over the old thought, which is usually not the truth, then we're actually changing our mind. And when we change our mind, we change our relationship with other people, with ourselves, with the world, because we actually see the world, whether it's our inner world or our outer world, through those ideas that we believe. And we can change our beliefs and make a better world. At least the world looks better and feels better and might respond better to us when we do that. So the book goes through lots of different examples of how to approach that. Chapter 1, we see the world through our beliefs, and it's a pair of glasses, and the glasses represent the things we believe. And there it's interesting. It goes through what I was introduced to at a national wellness conference. The speaker said, we see ourselves and the world through a whole series of glasses or lenses. He called them paradigms. A paradigm is like a pair of glasses. It's a belief. So he gave some examples. He said, well, we're certainly the human paradigm. We may be in the Western civilization paradigm, maybe the United States of an American paradigm, maybe we're a Republican paradigm or a white paradigm, a male paradigm. All these things that we see and think about ourselves, whether they're accurate or whether they're just something somebody told us. And we can go a lot deeper than that. We can go to, our church relationship paradigm and all kinds of things that we've learned about the world or ourselves. Those things that get stuck in our mind that we see the world through, then everything we look at, whether it's outside or sometimes inside, we're filtering through those beliefs. And somebody can sit there and tell you blah, 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 but what you hear because of your filters is blee, 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 blee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It actually can change what you hear someone saying because of the filters of your beliefs. And that's particularly true if which all of us get raised in some ways thinking that we're not so hot, inferior, ugly, not worth anybody's time. Those are thoughts that we have about ourselves. And somebody could even compliment us, and by the time their compliment gets into our mind inside, it's already been changed. Oh, they said that, but they don't really believe it. Oh, it just changed a compliment into a negative. That's the way the filter works. Or on the other side, well, I'm hot stuff, man. I got the best grades and I'm the cutest kid. And so anybody could say something else, and we'd say in our mind, yeah, well, they don't know what they're talking about because I'm hot stuff. That's the way the filters work. So the goal is to say, I'm going to examine my filters. I wonder if I really looked at those for what's really going on, would I look at myself the same way? Would I look at others the same way? And my belief is, no, I think we can change the way we look at ourselves and others. That we can change our beliefs, change our filters. And when we change to what I call the truth, to a healthy point of view, then it improves our happiness, our confidence, our love, our ability to have compassion and interaction with others. So I think it's worthwhile to take the time to just step through, whether it's my book or someone else's, but this one focuses on I'm not my thoughts. Who am I?
Well, that's a big question. That's, I think we all have at times are still asking ourselves the question, who am I and why am I here?
Okay, so I have an answer.
Okay.
I better have an answer. It was my question too. And somewhere along the line, partly through some Bible study, through a church group, and partly through psychology classes in college, and partly through other investigations, it seemed to focus down to me being an individual. And I more recently added an individual pod of consciousness, pod of self-consciousness, because I'm aware of self, me, that's me, self. Yet, as Roberto Assagioli said, way before I learned this idea of I'm not my thoughts, he was teaching, I have thoughts, but they're not me. I have a body, but it's not me. I have feelings, but they're not me. I have relationships, but they're not me. I have spirit, but it's not me. I didn't know he wrote all these things back in the 60s and 70s, but 25, 30 years later, I find a book of his called The Act of Will, and it's all just written down there, published back in 74 or something like that. So this is not a unique and I just come off the wall with this thing. This has got some legs to it, some foundation to it, and I, the individual, am the part that has a will. Now some say free will. I don't say free will. I say we have a will that is influenced by everything we see, hear, saw, heard, and in that space of observation, both observing our own consciousness and even as our subconscious brings things to our consciousness, or examining our dreams or things like that. We're the observer. I am the observer. I'm the individual that is observing my body, my thoughts, my feelings, my relationships, my spirit. And occasionally I get to make a decision. I say occasionally because we're told that probably 95% of our behaviors are automatic. We've been doing them for so many years. They get built into our system, our thinking system, our feelings even are back in that old, what is the limbic area or somewhere back there. Those feelings can be triggered without our decision at all. So lots of things are going on automatically. All our little cells are just doing all their little thing to keep us as healthy as they can. I mean, we got trillions of cells. And they're doing their thing, making little decisions. We don't know that. We're not conscious of that, thankfully. We have these big decisions to make. What will I have for breakfast? What shirt will I put on today? Well, and sometimes some more important kind of decisions, but, and when you are in relationship with someone else, if you're not observing, your interactions are both going to be pretty automatic. You're going to be interacting with that person based on all of your prior experience. And maybe a good thing would be to be able to just draw back enough to observe and listen, not only to who you're with, but even if you're saying something, it's interesting. I wonder why I said that way. I had a tone of voice that they didn't respond to very well. I think I'll examine that. And so, even in our communications that can be so automatic, we have lots of room for growth in terms of observing, examining, substituting. Well, you and I had a conversation just recently, and I noticed in your conversation that you used the phrase, let's see, you said drugs and alcohol. And it came up a couple of times, drugs and alcohol. Well, I health teacher for 30 years plus. We dealt with this a lot. Alcohol is a drug. So the way we might want to reframe that phrase is alcohol and other drugs. You see what we did? We took the same words, drugs and alcohol, which it puts out a message that isn't true. It's as if alcohol is not a drug. And we put it in reverse context, which is the truth, alcohol and other drugs. So by substituting a true phrase for one that was promoting a bit of a misunderstanding, voila, it didn't hurt. But it was correcting something that was now, we're able to tell a truth in a way that is different than a phrase we learned. We didn't know it was a little bit promoting misunderstanding, didn't think about it. But once we thought about it and saw the alternative, that makes a lot of sense. So let's work on substituting the new phrase for the old phrase. That's just a common example that we could go through a bunch of phrases.
Yeah, and so with that being said, you can see very clearly that what I was saying came from my thoughts that had been planted in me from reading articles, newspapers, parents talking about these issues or conversations, all of these things. So, I wasn't born with thoughts,
Right.
but I was like a sponge. And I took in what mother said, what daddy said, what all of the teachers that I had, all the children that I've been around, leaders that you've been involved in your work, and supervisors, all of these thoughts from the world. We turn on television, we get all these thoughts from this communicator and that communicator, and they are like a sponge in my mind. And whatever I have really taken in and believed, maybe done a lot of work in the alcohol and drug and the alcohol and other drugs. So in that area, and so therefore you can see that those thoughts have to be worked so you can get them right and get them to be what you need to have them at for you and for others. But again, it's not me, those thoughts. I don't say that came from Dad when I initially started in this process of the idea, I am not my thoughts. I don't say Dad said that, or he told me that, or she told me that. I say I am. I am my thoughts. I am my thoughts. Like if somebody told me, you know what, you're lazy, okay? You're a lazy person. Or you never clean your room and you're lazy. They made that judgment and they told me, and you'll never amount to anything. Have you heard that? I think we all have. Maybe. And what do you think when you look in the mirror? You'll never amount to anything. Is that true? Is that a true thought that I want to believe? Or is it something that somebody said because somebody told them they weren't worth anything and somebody told them that they weren't anything, and we all are carrying this baggage or this sponge around and believing everything somebody said when we mixed our faith with it, and now it's me. Well, no, it's the thought that was given to me that I haven't separated and looked at as not me. And I have to pull that off and separate it and look at it as a thought and not me. Then I get a decision is, am I not worth anything? Well, as it says in the scriptures, if you're going there, I go there because I'm a Christian counselor. But if you look at the scriptures, God says, I created you. I created you good. You are one of mine. I love you. Wow. Somebody loves me. Somebody said they love me. Am I going to believe it? Ask around. Do you think I'm worthless? No. We all have value. All of us. Each person has a valuable presence here on this earth that can be related to each other, discussed, ideas. Yes, we have all ideas to communicate with, but things that we need to, that's who we are. You know, as far as I'm not my thoughts, but I am a choice maker of what I want to choose when I find out I am not my thoughts. Yes, big deal. And you know, for this soul. Now I know that in the book they say, who are you? You can say I'm a pod of consciousness, but other people equate that to a soul, a decision maker. So anyway, you know, that's another identifier, and I think you have something in your book that tells us that.
Well, actually, in the first page, there's a little card that says, I am an individual pod of consciousness, a unique, indivisible, self-aware being or soul. I have a body, thoughts, feelings, relationships, and spirit. I do observe these when I'm awake or aware, and make decisions when given a choice. I follow through when I exercise my power of will. So that's all in one little card here. First thing you see when you go into the book. So yes, we agree. Soul is a descriptor, is a noun for who I am. I am a soul. I am an individual. I am a pod of consciousness. I am the gardener. And there's a whole list of other ways that I am described in chapter 1 or 2. And so, in that regard, what are you going to do about that?
Well, I think that one option that you have is, if you've been wondering who you are, what you are, and some more information about what's your purpose here in life that you can think about, is to purchase this book.
Oh.
And right on the first page, you have the identification of who you are, an option for you to choose and think about. So again, provides answers to some of our questions that I think are wonderful and very helpful in our life. So, Dick, we appreciate your book, and we thank you for writing it, because it really can help our lives grow.
Well, lots of people contributed to this putting together of a book that is very meaningful to me and has been to others, and hopefully will continue to be into the future. So thank you, Jan.
You're welcome.
Helping us highlight it again. And maybe you picked up a few things this time in the interview that you didn't get the last time, or maybe it'll inspire you to listen to some of the other ones on either you have a channel, I have a YouTube channel. It's called Dalton JCMO for Jeff City, Missouri. And it has all of our interviews listed right there. So,
and I also have a YouTube, and it's under Janice, Janese, Neher, Neher. I'm a licensed professional counselor with Counseling to Change. So you can get more information on my site too. And so we hope that you've had a fulfilling listening session. Thank you for listening.
take care. We love you.